So we went from Uber taking our surge, changing our surge, covering up the fact that they were charging as much surge, and we might actually be at a point where Uber is charging surge and not even telling us they're charging surge. Well, this just gets better and better, doesn't it? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and yeah, we're talking about the surge again because Uber just cannot control themselves, it seems, with any of this. So here's the thing. We all know that Uber's changed the surge a lot, and the surge was, and in many ways should still be, the lifeblood of the gig economy. When demand goes up, you get paid more. That's one of the things that was a huge draw for a lot of drivers. And especially back in the day, you would do things like work holidays and late at nights hoping for a unicorn ride. You would get that high surge ride that happened to be very far, and you would get a lot of money. Now, passengers have never liked surge. We should always acknowledge that. And there's even some Uber tubers who actually feel that surge pricing is predatory. I think it's just supply and demand personally. And Uber keeps changing it. But the thing is, they're not changing it because it's just not fair to the passengers. They've been changing it so that they can get more of it. So the first thing they did was, well, they did upfront pricing where they could just take what they wanted from us, regardless what we thought about it. And it could be sometimes as high as 80%. Then they changed it to a set dollar amount. So it's like it didn't matter how much it multiplied when it came to surge. We got like a small dollar amount. And then recently the big controversy was that, well, it was showing that it was surging, but if you looked on the passenger app, it would suggest a much higher surge than the one you got, and during certain time periods that most people were aware would normally be surging more money. Well, then I got an email from this person, and they said that Uber was now actually at a point where they weren't showing the surge at all. And their proof was in this. They got this meal delivery and earn at least $7 16 minutes. Well, they checked on the Uber passenger app and didn't accept it for this reason. Because the passenger app suggested that they were charging way more than $7. And then when they declined that order and went to the Uber driver app, it showed no surge. Now, I didn't report this right away because of a couple of reasons. First of all, this says 10:48. This says 10:24. This says 9:30 p.m. And this is a meal. Honestly, there was, with all due respect to the person who sent this, it's not like I don't distrust you. It didn't add up. This was not verifiable by any stretch of the imagination that Uber was actually doing that. 3 different times, 2 different types of deliveries, it just wasn't looking good. But then a viewer named Melissa sent me something that actually made me believe that this might be happening a little bit more. So this is one of 2 screenshots she sent me. This is a trip she did for Coachella. I don't know if you guys know what Coachella is. It's like a big music festival. It's actually considered one of the big nights for Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, full disclosure, I have never driven Coachella. I mean, it's somewhat close to me, but I think it takes like an hour or 2 to get there. And the thing about Coachella is like, yeah, I'm sure the trips are long. I'm sure they surge a lot. But there was a lack of drivers in the area on those nights too, so there would normally be surges here. So why drive an hour for surge that you would get at home? That's what I was thinking. So I've never driven Coachella, but I have heard nothing but very positive things when it comes to the earnings for it. Now then, Melissa took this Coachella trip, and it's a $5.43 trip. Duration, 13 minutes, 27 seconds. Distance, 3.40 miles. Trip type, Uber X, 3:55 a.m. Base fare, 75 cents. I remember when the base fare was $10. Distance, $3.08. Time, $1.52. Wait time, 8 cents. So ultimately, $5.43. Now that is not a great fare, but when you look at the distance and the time, that's not terribly surprising. It really isn't. That actually seems like a very standard cost of an Uber ride for a trip of that length and that distance. But then she decided to look at the receipt in full to find out what Uber got. And this is what she got. Indeed, she got $5.43, but the rider paid $45.88. Uber took a total of $40.45 of this payment. And let's go back over here. Are you noticing something missing in this receipt? Anything at all? There is no credit for surge. There's no credit for surge whatsoever. But I can tell from experience that, taking their new rates into consideration. I mean, if it was the old rates, like what it was like a year ago, this might be like about $7.25, I would say, something like that. But this is fairly close in line with what you would get for such a short trip. And yet, Uber's taking $40. So that means that Uber is clearly charging a surge and not paying the driver, or they're not paying a promotional fee. Because here's the other interesting thing that was stated. Melissa mentioned that Uber had like a promotion on her app. I don't know how many people got this. That said that she would basically get $40 just for taking a ride at Coachella, which seems like an unusually generous offer from Uber. So, I mean, maybe she worded it a little differently, but basically there was a promotion to pick people up from Coachella, and it was about $40. Maybe she had to do like a few trips. Maybe she had to drive during a certain time. I don't remember exactly. But look at what Uber's taking. $40.45. So if there was a promotion, then did Uber just effectively take her promotion? Or is there a surge going on right now and she is not being told this? Because again, you go over here. It does not say anything about a surge, a promotion, nothing. None of that's credited. And yet, you look at that, $45.88. There is no way a 3.5 mile trip is going to cost $45 without surge or promotion. And since it says rider pays, I'm assuming there was a surge. And since it's Coachella, I'm more than certain that there was a surge here. And it looks like Uber not only took it, they didn't even credit that there was a surge. Oh, there's no surge. Nothing here whatsoever. I think if this isn't 90% of the fare, it's pretty darn close to being 90% of the fare. So I don't know exactly what Uber's doing. This is, I mean, a lot of what they do is disturbing. I mean, one of the urgencies in making all these videos recently is because it seems like it's getting worse and worse before the IPO. I mean, Uber really just needs to raise the prices on the passengers, share some of that with the drivers. This is one of the reasons people are frankly offended by Uber's cash offer. I mean, I've heard people on YouTube, people I respect, by the way, and have no issue with having this opinion. It should be noted. I just disagree. Who say that, the drivers are entitled and spoiled when it comes to the bonuses because it's like they're not happy with free money. And it's like, guys, it's not free money. Look at this. Look at this. $5.43 driver makes off a $45.88 ride. Uber's taking $40.45. You know that's a surge ride. It's not even credited as a surge ride. Uber is outright hiding the surge. In fact, who knows? Maybe this is even a signal. Maybe there's just no surge from now on. Maybe we're actually at the point. We could be at the point where Uber is charging passengers surge and just not giving any of it to the driver. They're not even acknowledging it. Like if you go here, surge isn't even a factor in your payment anymore. But they probably legally have to acknowledge that it was charged. So, I don't know. I don't know in 100% what to make of this one, guys, but I do want to know your thoughts. So, you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, helping this channel run smoothly and you get access to my Patreon exclusive blog. And if you want to save on some gas, because gas prices are going up for a lot of you, check out the GetUpside app. You will get discounts on gas when you and your friends use it. Referral link is below. And check out my Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel. It's a fairly new channel. We're just getting started, but new content will be coming every single week. And if you want to talk with me or other fellow drivers of the gig economy on Facebook, check out the Apptrepreneur Hangouts. You have to be approved to join, but we've been approving most people. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.